Hello everyone! Today we're going over a tutorial for drag and drop texturing. Drag and drop texturing is a tool I began working on all the way in August of 2024. And the idea has always been simple. The ability to drag and drop textures seamlessly into the game onto your character. So let's go over what that might look like. So I'm wearing a Bebo body. I've got a Bebo base texture transparent overlay here. I can just drag that on and we're wearing it. And I got this makeup texture here. We can drag that on and I'm wearing it. And if I want to get rid of these, I can just remove and remove. So as easy as that, we were able to put on textures and remove them. Now another thing you can do is we got this PSD file, and you might find these if you're looking for like just standalone baseline textures. A lot of modded creators like to just give you a PSD file. So if you don't have Photoshop or anything that can open up a PSD file, you can just drag and drop that into the game with drag and drop texturing. In this PSD file, I've got two different textures to choose from. You got this tattoo we were wearing previously that was made for Bebo, and we got this other tattoo that was made for Gen 3. Now you might be thinking, well, you can't wear a Gen 3 texture on Bebo, they're incompatible. With drag and drop texturing, they are compatible. So I can just click Finalize and Import Selected, and we are wearing this Gen 3 texture, even though we are using a Bebo body. Behind the scenes, we are converting the UV layout from Gen 3 to Bebo with a lightning fast algorithm that does not require any slow programs like XNormal. We have managed to completely optimize the process without any use of external tools, which is pretty amazing, I think. And another thing is we can go back, so we find this Bebo texture here. I can just drag and drop this on top of this texture, and maybe I can reorder them. But we're actually wearing both of these textures at the same time now. We're wearing a Bebo Plus UV texture and a Gen 3 authored texture at the same time on the same body. And if I want, I can find these body stitches I have. I can drag those on. Those are also made for Gen 3, but we're wearing those on a Bebo body as well. And let's find our makeup. Let's drag that back on. And cool. We're wearing these tattoos. We've got the face makeup on. And if I open up Glamour, here's another thing we can do. So let's decide, okay, we're going to change from Rain to Rava. So we just switched races, and we're just going to wait a little bit. And our tattoos and our makeup just changed race with us. So you can get the exact tattoo look you want, and you don't have to remake it for another race when you decide you want to change races. So let's go to, I don't know, let's pick Amikote. We'll just wait a few moments. And as you can see, we are, again, wearing everything we have already layered onto our character. Just like that. Okay, so let's go over another feature. We're going to get rid of these textures. And we're going to go over the painting tool. So it looks like it picked some models that are not quite what we want to use. Like we can hide extra. Yeah, okay. So the Bebo overlay, or the Beetle model, I mean, it's got this clothing mesh that if it's hidden, it kind of doesn't show everything. So, but for now, for YouTube, we're gonna not go to a model that's a bit more uncensored. But what we can literally do is draw. We can draw on this texture. And if I'm going to find a picture that I want to put on this body. So we got a picture, this 2026 picture. I'm going to drag that onto the window. And we're going to have to scale this a bit. But Beetle Plus in particular has this tricky thing where if you try to place stuff in the center, you can kind of see in the 3D view, it's really hard to center stuff on the Beetle body. But if I click in the 3D view, check this out. We can literally drag this into the center, like perfect center, without any fuss. Now, if we want to wear this, I just click Commit Paint to Active Layers. We wait. Oh wait, I forgot a step. So, in that step, I had to actually commit the layer that we just drug on. So, let me find the exact... Okay, we'll try that again. So, drag that on. Let's get it where we want. Get it centered. And I'm going to click Stamp Floating Layer. I'm going to click Commit. Okay, now we've got that image stamped onto our character. So, yeah, it's you can probably spend a lot of time just tweaking the different layers, playing around and figuring out exactly how you want things to look. I'm hoping to maybe add more features to this texture painter program as I get feedback, but one of the biggest things is everyday people just wanting to put stuff where they want on the character. And I may as well go over another thing with that stamping thing. So when we drag on a texture, we actually get two different projection modes we can play with. So we've got 3D Tangent, which kind of tries to wrap around the body based on where you're clicking on the normals. So, you know, it'll kind of just wrap around the mesh here. But we've also got 3D Camera Projection, which it projects directly from your camera view, so no matter where you drag it, it basically just looks straight. But there is a caveat, like when you look around, you can see actually it wasn't straight the whole time, but it looks straight based on where your camera is. But some people might want that kind of projection, some might not. So 3D Tangent might be the mode that most people prefer. But yeah, you got both those options, and I'm just going to click Commit to Paint Layers. And I think my boots are probably covering that. Or no, I did not click Commit to Layer, I think. Yeah, I did not click the Commit. So we're gonna Drag that on again. And we're going to remember to actually commit the layer this time. Stamp floating layer. And then save and close. And then you can see the text is there, but I'm going to take these boots off. Yeah, so there we go. Okay, so the next thing, we got a feature called Contextual layers. So I've got a contextual layer for whenever I'm swimming, my character will get wet. If I walk around in too much sand, I'll get sandy legs, and this triggers based on whenever the sound effects plays. So glow tattoo on combat, this triggers if I pull my weapon out. So if I pull out my weapon, I've got a tattoo setup that will add this glow texture to my character. And if I open folder, you'll see this, okay, well, I guess it's not showing up in Explorer, so I'll just open it myself, but we got this glow map texture that basically tells how to make my character glow. And that will get applied whenever I pull out my weapon. And when I put my weapon back into its sheath, the glow tattoo goes away. You can set up different criteria. So if you perform a certain mode, your HP drops below a certain threshold, you're in combat, you kill a bunch of things, you use actions, combat actions, you know, you got a certain specific chat message, like someone says /EM splashes paint on your face, you could have something set up so that your face gets covered in paint. If there's an enemy nearby, and you can enter like that specific enemy that's nearby. Territory ID, so like if you enter a certain map. Weather ID, specific weather. In-game time, so between two specific points in time, you can have a texture randomly apply. I have this one thing called combat blood. So if I kill things, it'll trigger blood to cover my character. So if we go to open folder, see all these textures for just blood spatter being added to my character. And so let's kind of show that off. Let's go to Costa del Sol and we will check out the dynamic texturing. So the first one we can probably try out is just plain old swimming. When I swim, I should get covered in wet particles. So we're swimming. And if I zoom in, if we look around, we should be able to see wet marks on our character. Okay. So I'm just going to shine the light. I can't get rid of this. I don't know how to get rid of the skeleton at this moment, but I'm hoping this will make the wet markings more visible. And yeah, you can see that there's wet markings on her skin. If you look around and ignore the skeleton, You can see the wet markings on our character here. Now, one feature that I'm toying around with, but needs more optimization, is a feature called Procedural decal mode. So I have this thing called Dynamic Blood. So if I enable it, you're kind of going to see why it needs optimization, but the idea is that when you like have certain things happen, it will dynamically pick a place on your body to just slap decals onto, so that your textures are basically randomly affected. Okay, so you can kind of see a blood texture kind of popped up on our breast there. And we're going to keep going. And as you can see, there's more blood on our chest. And it'll just keep piling on as we go and knock things out. But in theory, you could have this also working for like dust particles or paint. If you're like a pictomancer and you want to be covered in paint, the more spells you use or something, that could be a thing you could do. Okay, now we got some on our back, we got some on our leg. So yeah, that's the procedural system at play, and it's kind of dynamically adding to our active layers. Now the contextual layer system and the active layer system also don't really affect each other too much. Like, I can go back and be like, well, we're covered in all this blood, but we're going to drag in this other texture, and as you can see, we've just dragged and dropped our tattoo, but we're still covered in the same blood as before. Now, if we want to get this blood off of us and everything, there's a very simple way to do it. We're just going to find a body of water, and we'll just swim. And once we get out of the water, all that blood that got on us is gone. All that's left is what we drew on ourselves, the tattoos we drag on and everything. And if there's any particular layer we don't want anymore, or if I want like what I drew to be like on top of everything, we can just reorder them. So yeah, I think that's just about everything I can go over about drag and drop texturing. Go nuts, have fun. As far as like how the procedural system works, if we open folder here, we got 3 different transparent random textures that will get splatted on our characters. So that's how that system kind of worked. But yeah, if you think this is cool or you want to check it out or whatever, feel free, have fun. I can't wait to see what people create. There is a Discord you can visit if you have trouble, and I will do my best to try and give support there. So yeah, that's everything. Hopefully this was worth your time, and I'll see you guys next time.